Greetings, hobbyists, and chaos and mess is everywhere. Because I'm moving house, and that means that everywhere is simultaneously storage and I can't get anything done. But something has arrived and it's going to allow me to modify this 3D printer. But to do that, we're going to need to 3D print a part, and we're going to need to design that from scratch. Which surely is kind of the point of being able to 3D print things. So let's have a look at what we're doing. So if I rotate this around, you can see on the back we get this little plug that you can open. And that is designed for any Cubics extractor fan, which would be great if I had a window, but I don't. But instead I found this filtration system, which means I don't need a window, it should purify the air as it comes into my room. You can find this a range of places, don't buy off Amazon, it was the most expensive that I seemed to find it. But Mintian have this on their own website. I found it on 3D Jake, which is a reputable site, and I also found it on eBay. I will say I didn't buy this off eBay because, well, I didn't know how reliable the seller was. But essentially what I'm saying is shop around. I'll put some links in the description. They're not affiliate links. If I get affiliate links and put them there, then I will tell you, but I don't have an affiliate link for this in any way at this point. But what I like about this is that it includes 3 stages of filtration and its own fan, so I'm not going to need that extractor from any Cubic as well as this. The only issue with it is came with a connector for a bamboo printer. I think it's the P series printers, which is obviously not what I want to use it for, but we've got a 3D printer and I've got a caliper, so this should be easy to solve. Okay, and into Blender, and this is a bit of free software that you can get from the Blender Foundation, and it's really powerful if you don't know much about it, and great for modeling things if you want some specific dimensions. So you don't need expensive CAD software to do this. What we're going to do is just delete out this cube, Shift and A, Mesh, and then I want to bring in a cylinder. Now, this you can see is fairly faceted, which means that it would not look perfectly round when we print this. That's not a massive problem, but we can change that. So all of your last commands are at the bottom here. If you click that, it will give you more detail about that. We can change this. So I'm going to change the vertices to 258 to be really rounded. And I've measured the diameter of this just using some calipers. They're pretty cheap to get on Amazon, and that is 98 millimeters. So I'm going to come into radius and type in 98, but that would be wrong because we want the diameter to be 98, not the radius. So we can just come here and divide that by 2. So you can do maths in Blender, and that will now be correct. The other thing we've got is the depth, and that is 40 millimeters. I don't think I recorded measuring that, but we can type that in there, and we've got that good to go. Next, we've got the thickness of this wall, and we want this to be fairly solid. And measuring it, it's 4 millimeters, which is probably about right. So we're going to tab to go into edit mode, and I'm going to hit 3 to go into face mode, select that face, and hold down shift and select that face there. We hit I to inset it, and you can see in the top we've got the thickness of this inset. Really easy. We want this to be 4 millimeters, so I just type in 4 and enter. And you can see how easy this is to get these dimensions correct. You just need to know where to go. Then we're going to connect these faces together, and to do that is Control and E, and we want to bridge edge loops. And you can see we've now got those bridged, and we've got this shape pretty good to go. Now on the original bit there's this indent that goes around the middle, and I think that's probably worth doing. So what I'm going to do is just Control and R in the middle. That creates a cut, and it allows me to move that up and down to the position I want it. We're just going to keep it in the middle for now, so I'm going to right click, and then that's now found in the middle. Then I'm going to bevel this, which is normally used if I hold down Alt to bevel edges, so you can do things like that and make them nice and rounded. But if I hold down Alt and click there, that will allow me to select this whole loop. You can do this to create some width as well. So what we're going to want to do is Control and B, and this is going to bevel this. If you've got lots and lots of bevels, it looks like something like this. You just need to scroll down on your mouse wheel until you get it just being very simple. And you'll notice at the top we've got an offset, and if I go all the way to the top there, you can see that it's, well, about 20 because this is 40 millimeters. So we know that this offset comes from the center. So I'm going to go to any depth that I want to, just somewhere there, and we've got here the width type is offset. Now I can change this to width, which means that it's actually the correct width, and I'm going to type in 18, so this is now 18 wide. I'm then going to hit G and Z. This allows me to move this upwards, but you'll notice I can take it too far. So I'm just going to G, Z to bring it up and hold down Control, and that allows me to snap to this top edge. But to do that, we need to set what it can snap to, and we do that here in our snapping settings. And I've got this set to vertex, edge, and face simultaneously by holding down Shift. You could just click edge if you wanted to, but I'm going to all of those as an option. So G, Z, hold down Control and it snaps there. Then I can press G and Z and move this down an amount equal to the width we've got here, which is 6 millimeters. So I'm going to type -6, and now we've got this in the correct place. We're going to want to inset this in. And according to my caliper, we want to do this about 1.2 millimeters. So Alt and E and extrude faces along normals, and this allows this to go either out or in. And again, this is measured as an absolute amount. So you can see here that when I get to this, it's at 4, which we know is the thickness. So I'm going to hit -1.2, which is the correct amount. And we've got that looking pretty nice. Now, there is one thing that I want to comment on here, and this is to do with 3D printing. We are going to 3D print this, and I'm likely to 3D print it standing upright. Well, actually, it'll probably be that way round, so upside down. But having this sheer face here and here is going to require a load of supports, which we probably don't want. So what I'm going to do is just come into edit mode. I'm going to go into 2, which is edge mode, Alt click there, and then hold Shift and Alt and click there. What I can now do is hit S and then Z to only scale on the Z axis, and then just make this have a little bit of a chamfer. So we're just going that way. I could have done this by pressing Control and B and doing a chamfer that way as well, but in this instance, I just want to press S and Z so that the whole surface is part of the chamfer, and I can make this steep or less steep. We'll go to about there. At this point, this is the connector for our hose coming from the filter, or going to the filter would probably be more accurate. And we're going to want to create the next stage in this. And that's going to be the bottom part. Now what I am going to do first is I'm just going to go into face mode, select there, and I'm going to E to extrude this down a bit, select there, Alt E, and extrude face along normals to make this a little bit wider, just to give me something to butt the hose up against. And then once again, I'm just going to S and Z to scale those bits in, just to make it, again, easier to 3D print. Let's just maybe do that a little bit more, something like that. Just something as a guide. Now we want to do the next bit, and this is going to be the much thinner part. So we're going to want it to connect to something down here and make this relatively fluid looking. I'm not going to want to put it directly here. So I'm going to Shift 8 mesh, and I'm going to bring in another cylinder, which is there. And again, we'll change the size of this. I'm going to keep the vertices. That's important for what we're going to do later, but we don't want the radius being 49. Instead, measuring this, we want a diameter of 40. So that's going to be a radius of 20. And that's about the right shape. Depth of 40 might be a bit much. I'll go down to 30 and just G and Z that down to somewhere there. That should probably be a decent enough shape. So nothing measured for that. What I am going to do, and this is going to be a bit important, is I actually want this face here to be a little bit smaller than what I think I need it to be. This means when we try to connect it, it will go in relatively easy, but then get to a point where friction is going to hold it in. So I'm just going to S to scale that down a bit. Again, I'm just eyeballing this, and then come to that top face and do exactly the opposite. Just S to scale it a little bit bigger. So this should allow that friction to work. Then we're going to select that face, exactly the same as what we did here. I'm going to I to inset it, and we probably want that again being about 4 millimeters, so it's nice and solid. Control and E, and then bridge edge loops. So again, ready to go. Now, all we need to do is connect these two things together. Now, you can do that with something called a Boolean, but you kind of want that overlapping for that to work. So instead, we're just going to join this together and do it manually. So I'm going to select that, Shift, select there, and then Control and J. And this is now one object that we can go into edit mode, and it's all there. And what I can do is 3, hit Alt, select there, Shift and Alt, select there. So with that done, we can just then X and delete out the faces, and then we're going to connect these bits together. So we want this inner loop here, so I'm going to hit Alt and select that loop there. Oh, 2 to go into edge mode, that will help. There we go, that loop. And then we want that to connect to the inside loop, so Alt and Shift and click that one there. Control and E, and then bridge edge loops, so that's working. And then exactly the same here. Alt select there, and then come in and then Shift and Alt select there. Control and E, and bridge edge loops. And this is now a solid manifold shape that we can print. And again, we'll probably print this If I just press R and then 180, we'll probably print this way up, and everything should print hopefully without supports. That should be fine because of the angle of this not needing them. What we could do is, if we want this to look a little bit more smooth, is come into edit mode to select that edge there, Control and B, and just bevel that a little bit. So something like that. I'm just going to scroll up to get to 16, and we could do the same thing here if we wanted to, Control and B, and just scroll up somewhere. Again, 16 is probably fine. So that's going to be our connector. File, export, STL, name it whatever you want, and then let's get printing. So here's the end result printed in filament. We can see all the shapes clearly. This should be pretty effective. It fits in really nicely to the filter, that extra ridge acting as a stopping point as we intended it to, and then we can just clamp that in place with the parts that come with the filter. And even simpler connecting it to the scanner itself, the friction system works really well. Just push it in, a little bit of a twist, and it holds really nicely. And what's so nice about this is that it was in total maybe 15 minutes worth of work, probably less, and then obviously just letting the printer run, which means that making more of these, if I've got other 3D printers that I want it to fit, or I want to buy more of these filters, is easy. To me, exactly the purpose of 3D design and 3D printing. Next, at some point, I'm going to have to work on this beast and working out something for that external ventilation system, and that's probably going to need some paneling system or something to allow this to vent outside through the wall of the workshop. So that would be interesting to make that work. I will put this design up on the Patreon as I always do, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day, guys.